Please welcome Senator Rick Santorum.
Looking at all the numbers that were being thrown out on these screens, the unemployment rate and poverty rates, and then listening to the message about what we can do to solve it, I first want to stop and just say a prayer. I want to say a prayer and want us to think about those people behind those numbers. In politics, we think about numbers, but there are human beings who are not realizing their God-given potential. And so we ask God tonight to bless them, to bless the poor, the homeless, the hopeless, those who see so much prosperity and wonder why somehow they have not been blessed. Lord, we ask you to instill in all of us a sense of purpose and mission, that we might strive to build a more just and better land so those without hope can have that hope. Those who do not see can see your vision for them, see your plan for them, and realize that here in your blessed land. And we know how to do that. We know how to do that in America. We've been doing that in America better than any other country in the history of the world for 235 years. We have been providing hope. We are the beacon of hope for the world. People come from all over the world, and even those who don't come are inspired by America. And what is America? Is America an ethnicity or a race, creed? It's the latter. It's not an ethnicity, it's not a race, but it is a creed. It's an ideal. Kirk laid that out ideal in his speech in the monument. The great gift that our founders gave us that is not being taught in America. It's not being shared with Americans today. They're being taught another creed. They're being taught another ideal. An ideal that is antithetical to the founders' ideal. We are a divided country. No one likes to hear that. Someone who has served in public life doesn't like to say it. But it is the reality of America today. We are divided. And we have to understand what's at stake in this election. This is the most important election in our lifetime. Not just because of the economy. The economy is important. The economy is very important to people. We have to be able to feed and clothe and house and get to places. But America is more than stuff. Our founders said so in that founding document. When they talked about rights, unalienable rights, rights that can't be taken from you, given away, that are attached to us. Why? Because we are creatures of a loving God. And what were those rights? Life, liberty, freedom. To do what? To pursue happiness. And we think of happiness today and we think of, well, pleasure, enjoyment, things that make you feel good. That's what we're taught. That's what the popular culture teaches us. That's why you go to work, so you can have fun, you can enjoy, instead of work for the sense of work and serving God's will. But our founders understood better. And when they said pursuit of happiness, go back and read the dictionary definition of happiness at the time of our founders. And what will you find? You will find that our founders understood, as the people at that time did, that true happiness comes from doing what you ought to do, doing what God has called you to do. And that's what they meant. To use the freedom God has given you to do what you ought to do, to pursue God's will, and thus build a great and just society from the bottom up. To use your industry to build it from the bottom up. And we understood that the basic building block of that society, that economy, if you go look up the word economy, comes from the Greek word oikos, which means family and household. The basis of the economy in this, not just this country, but in every country, is the family. It is the basic building block of our society. And when that building block is fractured, when that cornerstone is broken, or never even cemented into the building, the structure above it crumbles. And that's where we are in America today. The hopelessness that you're seeing, the want that you're seeing, yes, it's economic, but it's mostly because of the brokenness of the lives and the families and the communities. Because now 40% of our children are born out of wedlock. Now roughly half of people over the age of 18 are married. That's down from 75% just 30 years ago. The family is coming apart, and it is no wonder the economy is crumbling. We cannot rebuild this economy and create opportunities for all, for those who are being left behind. Those left behind at the bottom of the income scale, those who are working in lower and middle income jobs. Do you know, if you look at the income and you take the top 20% of those income earners in America, 85% of them are married. Less than 40% at the bottom are married. The people at the top don't preach what they practice, which is marriage, families, moms and dads raising children are at the heart of economic success in America. And unless we are willing to stand up from this pulpit and from pulpits around the country and from lectors at political debates around this country and stand up for the family and for marriage, we will not have a society that is rich and prosperous on any level, much less economic. Our founders, as Tony quoted, mutually pledged to each other at the end of the Declaration of Independence. Mutually pledged to each other. See, that's how we do it in America. I'm sure we got some Marines out there. And when you're in the foxhole, you love your country, but you're mutually pledging to each other in that foxhole. Look at the people next to you, here in this room, listening across this country. Mutually pledge. Don't just say, I'll do it. Don't just say, I'll pray, I'll participate, I'll prepare. Don't just say it. Look at the person next to you. Pledge to each other before God that you will do what is necessary at the turning point in American history, which is, in my opinion, this election. Feel blessed because you are here at a time when your country needs you. God needs you. I pledge. I hope you do too. Thank you and God bless.